would like to welcome you all to another installment of the Purple and Gold Table Talk. It's a special edition where we're going to be talking about friendship and service with two great men who know all about that. I will be your host today. I am Kyle Richard, H-Dog Ada Beta Follow 8. I'll let these gentlemen introduce themselves.
Kendall Thomas, H-Dog KI 22.
Sterling Gillum for KI Spring 22.
All right. Well, without further ado, we're just going ahead and jump into it, fellas. So how y'all doing today?
Man, blessed.
Good, brother. Thank you for having me.
Blessed, absolutely.
All right. So the first question that I have is, we're going to start with you, Sterling. How has doing service projects deepened your friendship, not only with members of Omega, but other people like volunteers? How has that helped deepen your friendships?
I'm going to be honest with you. It's deepened my friendships because serving alongside people, I feel like they show you the best of them.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're able to see the best in people. You know what I mean? And performing tasks, however menial or impactful they may be, allows you to, some of the closest friends that I have, I've made it work. You know what I mean? Shoulder to shoulder, rolling your sleeves up and getting to it because you're able to see people in a little bit of adversity and how they overcome that. And y'all overcome that together and organically, you know what I mean? You just become closer. Deepens the chemistry.
Well, what about you, Ken?
Same for me. I think we build a bond through service. A lot of for our line ourselves, it's one thing that we all agree on, that together we can make this world a better place, but also in that service, we building a bond that can't be replaced. So we find ourselves all men of different spaces, but wanted the same thing and had the same agenda. But we didn't know how to get here individually. So we found each other in this organization and we come together and make such a large impact in our community. And at that same space, we are building a very tight friendship.
So Did y'all already have that in mind, like when y'all became LBs, or was that something like already ingrained in y'all? Or did it get deeper, like the wanting to do service? Like, was that always a part of y'all individually?
Individually, yes.
Okay.
I think we did kind of have that in common prior to meeting one another. We were all people of service, in our respective communities.
Right.
And had no problem serving as it is. That's just something we all did.
So what role does friendship play in motivating y'all to want to help other people?
I think for us, we want the best out of each other. And when we first came together, it was, this is what I want to get out of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. So we hold each other through our friendship accountable. We hold each other accountable a lot. We talk every day.
Every day.
Not only do we hold each other accountable in our personal life, but also in our service. So we'll say, well, we got to go to school today. Sterling may say, I ain't got time. I got to do something with my family. I got kids. No, we told these teachers we're going to go read to these kids. We got to be there. So within our friendship, we hold each other accountable. And the byproduct of that is the community gets served.
So have y'all ever had like a dispute? I mean, as LBs, y'all gonna have disagreements. Y'all gonna have disputes. Have y'all not wanted to show up to a service because you like, man, I can't even see him because it's on site?
It's not gotten to that degree, but we have colorful disagreements.
Okay,
I'll be honest. They get very spirited.
Colorful disagreement.
They get very spirited because it'll. Let's be honest. Nobody likes wasted motion, right? In all service, we don't always agree on the projects we should tackle, right? Some projects we see no value in, right? While as, the other may say, hey, man, there's a ton of value in that, and here's why. You know what I mean? And then what we have to realize, we always circle back around after sparring with each other with words. We circle back around and we realize, well, what may be valuable to me is not necessarily valuable to him. So, but there have been times where we show up to support our LB and what's close to his heart anyway. It might not be something we find valuable, But because I love my brother, I'm coming anyway.
Now, is it?
You know what I'm saying?
Is it because he in front of you that you pointed him out, or?
Oh no, nothing specific. No, nothing specific.
We have another element to this party.
Yeah, we do.
My deuce, and
yeah,
he's a very much a productivity guy.
Driven.
I'm very much a grassroots. If it feel good, I do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I get shot down a lot
Okay.
by the productivity guy.
He a project manager.
That
Right?
I will name.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He should remain named.
He's a project manager by trade. And he brings that to our friend group.
And y'all don't need that all the time.
And me and Sterling are emotional.
Yeah.
We lead with our feelings a lot of the time.
Absolutely. If it feels good, we attacking it.
Oh man, I saw these kids, Little League football team. Hey man, let's get them $500, get them some equipment. He go like, Deuce, what does that look like?
Yeah.
Do we have a budget for that?
Mm-hmm.
Who have you spoken to?
Hey, we met last week. None of that came up.
We met last week. What liability are we going to expose ourselves to?
Yeah. Buy them equipment.
I
to
just
what
want to
end?
help the kids.
Yeah.
So
Then he'll come back and say, KD, send me an email.
Mm-hmm.
I said, an email? I told you I wanted to help the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you need to put it on paper, sir, and send me an email and lay it out. I don't use PowerPoint.
So I'm gonna be honest. What he is describing is that LB's way of disagreeing with what you want to do.
okay,
Right?
okay.
And in the end, he'll be like, okay, so you want to help the kids. Here's what that's going to look like. And here's how we're going to do it.
Correct.
You know, whereas we would just pull up in the truck, hop out, get them kids some hugs, give them some money. You know, there would be a lot more nuance to it than that. We
He's
would make
very
sure,
much helped me grow in learning how to properly help people other than just throwing them money.
I thought you were gonna say he helps you with your patience.
So what's beautiful
No,
about
I'm still impatient.
Oh, absolutely.
I still want to do it.
Yeah.
And we'll argue for hours.
Okay.
And then he'll say, I sent you an email, a template on how to send these things properly. And I'd be like, I didn't get that email.
So what's beautiful about our group, though, what's absolutely beautiful about our group is what he described, whereas we would all come together and the LB that's not here would create a process of sustainability, right? Because let's be honest, service is labor and labor can be taxing. I won't negate that at all. It can tax you. You know what I mean? If you're doing so much service and friendships can become stressed. So what the LB who is not here would be able, what he does is he says, okay, cool. You want to go ahead and continue to help. Here's how we're going to do that according to a plan and a strategy that won't stress the system. Right? And again, we can continue to see the best of each other because everybody brings something different. You know what I mean? And really, I'm going to be honest with you. When we get together and serve, we have so much fun.
It like his world to see us together.
It does, man. I'm telling you, dude, it's amazing, man.
He glowing right now.
How much we cut up, dude? Oh, man, bro. Let me tell you, man.
Hallmark Channel.
You know, that's just me personally, man. I really enjoy when we get together and serve, the elements that we bring, the stories we tell each other. It's an amazing time.
So with y'all coming from similar backgrounds, but they completely different. You from Chattanooga, you from Atlanta. How do y'all choose what communities y'all gonna serve?
It's interesting because, like you're saying, we're from two different locations, but we've had a similar Black experience. So we bond so tight having those similar Black experiences. So we already know, I know his hurt, he knows mine. We have shared that amongst each other as friends.
So what about the LBs who they Black experience a little bit different from y'all Black experience? How do y'all figure out? Is everybody on board? Like when y'all like, hey, let's do this particular service in this low income underserved community, or are they more like, hey, can we look at doing some like, let's look at some middle class families, let's serve them? Like, do y'all have those discussions, or have that not come up before?
That's been the beautiful thing about our friend group, our line, that all of us come from different spaces with similar experiences. But nobody experience is greater than others. So while I may want to continue to serve lower income family, Sterling may say, hey, there are some kids that are not low income, but still struggle with identity, still struggle with depression. So let's serve them as well. One thing we had to always continue to remind ourselves, we're not into saviorship.
Yeah.
Which can come real easy because we're two young
And
men that was hurt as youth.
You got to be delicate when expressing that, but go ahead.
We have to, because we'll find ourselves in this space of, I want to save a version of me.
Okay, so that's what you meant. That's what you meant.
We've been there, absolutely. But one thing beautiful, the beauty of what he just described is there's no time limit on affection, right? There's no time limit on the service or the affection in service, right? There's no time limit on this. That we're not closing the door on who you want to serve at that time. We're just trying to figure out where to be most effective, right? And then trying to figure out where to be most effective, you got to be patient. We got to be patient with one another, right? And, the life that we get to live, you know what I mean, while we do this is just amazing. You know what I mean? And expressing the love, it's amazing.
It has been one of my best experiences.
What, the volunteering portion of it?
Yeah.
Not just that, because as we talked before, we was all doing things in our own space. But the fact that I was able to get with a group of men and have such a larger impact is something I had dreamed of. So I'm always grateful and appreciative of the process we went through for us to be on this end of it.
Yeah.
It was well worth the process.
So speaking of being well worth the process, what has individually for both of y'all, what has been like the most impactful for y'all? Like, what was the service project that y'all did as a whole, or as a line, or as we did as a chapter? What do you think? What was the most impactful for you?
We've done quite a bit.
Yeah, y'all be out there.
But I got to be honest with you. One of the most impactful things, in my opinion, that we've done was when we showed up with Brother Alan Green in the West Side a couple of years ago. And the reason why I say that is because we showed up to the kickball game. His nonprofit has the his annual kickball game. He has one kickball game, which is a really cool event. We showed up there, and we always cook. We provide the entertainment, the music, and the food, right? So we showed up to cook, and as we were serving kids that would just walk up to the table, we noticed that doors were opening to different apartments, and a lot of the community, is from an adult perspective, were coming out and they were eating. And then I just overheard somebody whisper, thank God, because this probably be the only meal I get today. There were people that coming up. One lady was a double amputee. You know what I mean? And we made her several plates.
Sterling loves to feed the community.
I do, man. That's my thing, man. Hey, look, man. To me, just seeing that, you can see it, man. You can feel it. You can touch it, man. You making a difference. Even if for like a couple of minutes, they smiling. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's only for a couple of minutes. To me, that's where the bros are the best. Right. I mean, we set ourselves head and shoulders above any other organization there is, but I'm telling you, we really rise to the top when we're doing the works like that. That's just my opinion. That's where you really get to see okay, they legit.
Right. So what was the most impactful service for you, from your opinion?
My favorite thing is our Omega Lamplighters program. It's where we get 10, 12, 15 young men from all over the city. And all of them not from the same background.
Nope.
Some two-parent homes, some low income, some higher
Parents
income,
deceased.
some parents deceased, some living with grandparents, some highly educated parents. And we took them on a hike to Volkswagen Way. And to see these young men just gel together, just being teenagers, all different backgrounds.
Walls came down, backgrounds
Didn't matter.
Yeah. That's the thing, man, about, especially with something, since we on the topic about the lamplighters, like it's something that I've always loved to do. You know what I'm saying? One, because it's a part of the fraternity, but then we also get to impart ways onto these young men who may be misguided or who may be misled. You know what I'm saying? They may have a male role model in their life who may not, you know what I'm saying, he may not have had nobody in his direction, and now he's just doing the best that he can from where he's at. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it from everybody's perspective. I don't look at him because we all come from similar backgrounds. You know what I'm saying? So, absolutely. And at one point in time, the stuff that I saw in the streets, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be like that. Like, for me, it was like the creme de la creme. That was like, you that dude. Heroes.
My biggest message that I share with the Lamplighters is, don't go through this journey alone. Life is a long journey. And if you have one friend, it'll make this journey so much easier. You don't need a whole bunch of friends. You don't need to be popular, but it's great to have that one friend you can call.
Absolutely.
And they really stuck to that. And I was like, you never know how long y'all gonna be friends in this thing. Y'all made an Omega Lamplighters. 30 years from now, you still friends. Friends matter. The one thing I say, the best way to fight depression is have a friend. Me and Sterling talk every morning. He call me every day at 8:45. Every morning.
Don't miss.
For the last 2 years.
For the last 2 years, every single day, 7 days a week. Don't
he
miss.
Apologize every time he called. And I say, don't apologize.
Are you telling him don't apologize? Because he going to do it again.
I always leave with the same thing. Sorry, bro, you sleep? Hey, but look here.
Anyway.
Professor, I got something to tell you.
Hey, man, look here,
every morning.
So with all of the service that y'all have done, I'm pretty sure y'all have seen or heard things from different communities, different people. Mm-hmm. How does that weigh on y'all mental health? And does it weigh on y'all mental health?
Oh, it absolutely weighs on your mental health. Because the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, you can't solve all the problems, right? But here in this particular moment, whatever you're focused on, you can make a difference there. And what we've always done, he likes to say it, I hear it 1,000 times. Hey, what we're going to do is keep the main thing. Unfortunately, and I know that can come off as crass or rude to the community that needs help. So what we actually started doing was, with a simple Google search, if there's somebody that has a need that we currently aren't meeting in that moment, we'll find a service that we can refer them to. We've done that before. You know what I mean? Try and link them up with another service. So
I don't take my position lightly. So as much as I know I can't save everyone in every community or whatnot, I am so grateful and blessed that I'm in the position I'm in. If I help one kid, we got one kid in our Lamplighters program we met last year. Lost. But when he see me, he light up.
Yeah, he does.
He can't remember my name. He can't always remember my name.
No.
He was like, hey, what's up with the bro with the sunglasses?
Yeah, the bro with the gold chain.
The bro with the gold chain. The bro with the Ray-Bans.
Yeah, he describes different every time. Yeah.
He not here today.
Yeah.
That's all I'm here for. That's one thing.
So y'all have brought it up twice. I forgot to touch on it, but like, how did y'all get to a place where y'all realize we can't save everyone? Like what y'all call it, the saviorship. Yeah. How did y'all come up with that?
So here's how we arrived there, right? We learned a lot this first time around bringing Lamplighters back to KI. We learned a lot. And one of the biggest lessons one of the biggest lessons those experiences taught us was, there has to be some onus on the party that you're helping. Right. Okay. And so what we arrived at was, for this cohort coming up, which we have 25 slots. We're right at 20 signups right now, confirmed signups, kids. And what we learned is we definitely wanted kids to sign up who cared about where they were going. That's the onus we put on the kids. You see so many different programs. You got to have this GPA. You know what I mean? You got to be a part of this club and have these volunteer hours to qualify for this. We didn't want to set up a program like that, because what happens when you do that is kids that actually could benefit in their lives from the programs, they slip through the cracks. So what we said was, the only criteria that we are asking that you meet is that you care about your future. if you care about your future, that's an attitude that can't be taught, right? Because a lot of times you also see programs that can become ineffective because the kids just look at it as a placeholder in their life.
Absolutely.
You know, just something to do, right? You know what I mean? And as far as saviorship goes, we recognize our limits. You know what I mean? We're just men. We do recognize our limits. We have limitations. You know, there are some things that come up that are beyond our scope. You know what I mean? We you know, I know me personally, I had a kid live with me, you know, his senior year at Brainerd, really his last 2 years at Brainerd. He come from a bad home life, and we moved him in with me and my wife and took care of him for those 2 years. But I saw he was out of his depth because he come from a family that suffered from severe mental illness. And I was out of my depth in trying to help him, you know what I mean, with some of the things he faced. So knowing your limitations.
I've done the same thing, brought a kid into my home and tried to mentor and all those things. So coming into this, I said, I'm going to do things different.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing is that, again, that's how I got to the saviorship thing of, I'm not going to try to save a kid from his background, lifestyle, and kids. Because one thing about mentoring, you can get in deep fast.
Very deep.
You give the parents your number, then 1 o'clock in the morning, they call you.
Been there.
2 o'clock in the morning, they call you. You coming to pick them up because the mama done kicked them out and got bags of clothes.
I'm on Lotta Street at 3 o'clock in the morning in the rain.
And then you go through all these things. You get them clothes. You get them back together. You get them in school. You talk to the teacher. Then he go back home, and it's a process all over again. And then when you call the police or you call the social workers, they say, hey, sir, it's great that you have a heart for this, but you are not kin to this child. So when me and my LBs got together and we really wanted to start making a real impact, because before we started a event called Baseball with the Bros. This is really where it kicked us off, Baseball with the Bros. So we took our own money, and here go me again. Man, let's take some kids to the baseball game. These kids ain't never been to the Lookout Stadium before. It's right here in town. I'm sure we can call the Lookouts and they'll give us some free tickets. My LB, what does they look like?
Well, first we got to come up with a budget. Okay. There has to be a budget. Okay.
We having everybody hot.
He kick you down, baby.
But he's 100% correct.
He's right. He's right 100% of the time.
Man. We need that because, like he said, man, we get so high on our ideas, we'll float away. And he pull us on back down.
Like, I'll drive the bus. I said, yeah, man, we get the kids there. We can worry about, got some hot dogs and some foam fingers. We there. Okay, what does that look like?
Yeah.
How much does that cost?
From a cost perspective.
Who have you talked to?
Right.
I'm just going to go up there to the stadium and ask the lady, can we come to the game?
That's it.
I'm passionate.
We don't need no plane.
I'm passionate. I don't need no plane.
Yo, man, why you stepping on me right now?
Look,
man. Hey, man, your energy heavy, man. You stepping on me right now.
Come on, you killing me.
I'm feeling good, man.
So, again, the patience. Take a deep breath.
Right.
We plan.
Let time go by.
Execute. Mm-hmm. And then we have the event, and it's flawless. And the feeling after the event is still there. Like, oh, man, I gave these kids an
Watching them kids eat a meal, they smiling. They enjoying baseball. You look around, there's bros out there. They chopping it up with the kids. You like, this is it.
They see one of the bros throw the first pitch, and it's like, okay, now I'm happy because now I have created an experience that they can grab later and say, I remember when I was 14 years old, and I don't know much about that purple and gold, but I know it was some brothers that cared about me enough to give me a hot dog and a foam finger. Sometimes it can be that small. Years later. So that's makes me smile and put a big thing on my heart that I got with a group of men that believe in what I believe in. We believe in it together, and we executing every time.
So I want to dive into what made y'all take the kids in. Like, I done took probably maybe 2.5 bros live with me, not all at the same time.
But over the course of life.
Them were grown men getting on my nerves. They was raised, they had jobs, responsibilities, but they still got on my nerves. how do y'all deal with how old were the kid? Were they like teenagers?
So this young man, when he came to live with me, he was 16 years old.
Okay.
And I fought it, right? Because my wife initially sat me down and talked to me about it, because she worked with this young man in school and expressed that he had an amazing heart, spirit, and limitless potential. And he tested off the charts on a few IQ things, and I heard it. But given my background, I've often seen what your environment can do to you, and you can't just wipe that off, right? All the tendencies, all the habits, the mentality, the defeated spirit. Like, it's hard to get rid of those things. I knew how hard it was for me to become the man that I am from that age to now. And so I told my wife, absolutely not. He's not ready. He's not going to be able to honor what he's receiving. Because I seen the mindset before. I grew up around it. I had the mindset at one point in life, right? And it's just, and all I saw was the potential drain on me and my household. I was coming at it from a selfish angle, self-preservation, right? And I didn't want to expose my family to those kinds of spirits. We were in a good place. But I think that the straw for me was his mother was bipolar. And she would often put him and his siblings out in the yard, just in the middle, in the elements, and my wife twisted my arm and convinced me. I said, you know what? He had an engineering scholarship to a major university, which, was cool. But I took a look at his habits. I said, yeah, he may have the scholarship, but he don't have the habits that's going to honor that gift. And that's what concerned me. He didn't have the habits that matched the gift that he was receiving. So I told her that she couldn't wrap her brain around what I was saying. But ultimately, twisted my arm, moved him in with me. He didn't have a suit, so I took him to Penny's. We got him outfitted. He got him a suit, got his first suit. He'd never been out of Chattanooga before. And so we took him to Destin, because we always, go on family vacation. We went to Destin, and he had a ball. He cried. He had such a good time. You know what I mean? And I was like, you know what? This could work. He's an amazing kid. He's not giving me any indication of a negative spirit at all. But those are the things that kind of
keep you going.
Yeah. They kept me going.
For me, a little background about me. I'm from the west side of Chattanooga here, College Hill Courts. Mama had me, she was 14, grew up around drug pushers, pimps, prostitution, alcoholism, all that good stuff. And so being a child of a teenager, I was a community kid. I was always outside, always everywhere, into everything. I am statistically not supposed to be here in this space right now, right? So what happened with me was I became a program kid. So I want to give a big thank you to Al Chapman, rest in peace, and then Troy Rogers. They was all part of this youth program at the Roanoke Center. And every summer and after school, I went to that program. We talked about God. We learned how to balance checkbooks. We had like a little mentoring speech we would say every morning when we got in, and it centered me so much. And then, so even in wherever I went in my life, when I graduated high school, I went into the Army, but I always felt the need, like I absolutely had an obligation to pay it forward. So in any space that I'm ever in, I'm always looking to give back to the youth. It's a balance, because I get caught up in that saviorship, right? Looking for a version of me. So I have learned to taper back from that and still be able to do the work. I owe it to them, and it's my way of honoring God for the place He's put me.
So, with both of y'all being fathers, how does the service to other people's kids, how does that impact your own fatherhood journey?
So me in particular, just as much as you can go nose blind, I believe you can become blind to what you see as a dad, right? You get so used to the rigmarole and the rat race of raising the same kid every single day that you can miss the little new nuances of your kid growing, right? So what mentoring kids, particularly in the last Lamplighters cohort, taught me was to look at things that my kid's facing and how she's growing in particular by being with these young men I don't know. They'll show it's like I'm paying more attention to these kids that I don't know and the habits and the things that they're facing, you know what I mean, in their culture, because they have a version of society that they face. It's an underground culture, right? So becoming in tune to the things and listening to the things that they face put me in a space where when I get home and my daughter comes to me, I can be more intentional about listening. You know what I mean? Just listening to those young men that I don't know put me in more of an intentional space when I get home. So I became acutely aware.
I struggle with that. I have a big heart. I feel like I mentor my kids well, and I feel like I mentor other people's kids well. I don't know how my kids receive me. As much as I mentor, as much as I communicate, I still don't know how my kids receive me. I could be great outside the house, mentor thousands of kids. When I go home and I ask my kids, how do you feel about your dad? Because we have real conversations. Like, how you feel about your dad? How you see your dad? Stuff like that. It's no reply. No reply at all. So I struggle with just not knowing. But I keep going and I keep pushing forward because I know I'm doing good works. That's what keep me. But I have no idea how my children see me.
But how old are your kids?
21,
See?
16, and 14. Still no communication.
I mean, that's around the age when
I'm still in the daddy hero phase. My dad's my hero.
All right.
I haven't gotten there yet.
It's beautiful.
Cause I'm gonna be where he at.
It's beautiful.
I'm trying to soak it up right now. You know,
It's
daddy come through with some Chick-fil-A, man, and whoa, like, you know, watch their face change, you know.
You know, you go drop your kids off, pick them up, and all this stuff, and teachers tell you, "Oh, you're such a great dad. Oh, we love having you around. All this stuff. Your daughter loves you. Your sons love you. Oh, they talk about you all the time." If they ask me anything in school, they say, "Let me ask my dad first." I would get these things from other people. Well, your son don't want to listen to nothing I say in science class because he was like, his dad know better. Let me ask my dad first because my dad went to school for nuclear engineering. So, but if I asked him, like, "Hey, how was school today?" "Fine." "What you learn today?" "Nothing much."
Cards close to the vest, giving you nothing.
I get everything from the teachers. Get everything from the grandparents, from the friends' parents, especially the friends' parents. "Oh, your dad is a wonderful guy. He does this and he does this thing." "Yeah, that's my dad."
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I don't have kids, but I just look at other people who've had kids. Like even like looking at like Dion. Dion is like, to all of us, he is like the coolest dude, one of the coolest dudes that we've ever seen.
Absolutely.
His kids be like, my daddy. He cool, but he be doing a lot.
Yeah, he do the most.
That's something like
That's what kids.
I be getting from my kids. Like, I'm like, I'm a war hero, right?
He all right.
I went to war 4 times.
Sure.
It was Boy Scouts.
Cool story, bro.
Right? I be like,
you didn't get no Purple Heart.
like that mean if I got a Purple Heart, I was dead.
Right.
But okay.
Yeah.
That's how it is. Like, I done all this stuff to help.
All these things. And
to
they
better
like, are you
us.
good at Call of Duty? No.
No.
Exactly. You ain't good at none of the stuff that he want to talk about. It's
right.
But my bad. I mean, I make sure that y'all living a good life.
It's weird how you can relate to kids you don't know better than you. Sometimes it's hard relating to your own kids.
My struggle is that, we doing well for ourselves in this part of life. I ain't gonna tell you how much money I make, but
man,
we doing well. Somebody live in Uruguay. I ain't gonna say.
Hey, listen. Hey,
somebody live in Uruguay.
Sir.
For those that y'all don't know what that means, it's not Atlanta.
Sir.
So,
sir,
it's the funny struggle. It's funny
because
we'll meet these kids that come from our background. Like, he ate fried bologna sandwiches in the morning with some rice. I'd be like, yeah, I did too. And I go home and my kids get 4-course meal.
Come on now.
I mean, we was just talking about it before we started about the little nuances of growing up in our neighborhoods, about going like something that is like super crucial in every black kid's growing up. It's just going to the barbershop.
That's it.
Like, talk about what you said, Sterling. Like, talk about how that has changed.
Well, style seed apps similar ruined the whole barbershop experience. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. No, I'm not gonna take the time to do that. No, but honestly, we were discussing how these barbershops and these community spaces raised us as men. The things we learned, right? Because you got some of everything when you went to these spaces, like a barbershop or a little league practice or, the Boys and Girls Club, wherever you went in your respective city, right? You would get things from these spaces like examples of how to live from a positive mentor, right? But you would also get examples of what mistakes would look like from a negative mentor. Like, hey, I know I don't want to be like that guy. You know what I mean? And what's sad is I feel like the availability or the quantity of those spaces has been drastically altered to where they don't exist anymore for these kids. You know what I mean? I think the thing that we're learning as we mentor children is that their spaces exist virtually more than anything.
I do want to make a challenge for us black men in our community. I get that we live in a podcast era. Mm-hmm. Don't let a podcast raise your children.
Man,
yeah,
that's a word.
Careful with that.
The media comes fast. But like you saying, that time spent with your kids and other people's kids is so much more valuable than allowing these young men to craft their thinking from a podcast.
Because you'll find a podcast where we're not gonna call no names, but it's it talks about misogyny. Now some of it talks about how to be a man, how to stand up for some things, but a lot of the podcasts it's demeaning women and making men looking like
yes.
Women are here to serve.
Careful with that.
You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of stuff. Like and kids will believe that because they look at they got this many followers.
It's accessible.
It's pushed in the feed.
Just as easy as we got it, they got it too.
Right. So like having men that look like them, I think that's super important. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying that it's nothing wrong with somebody of another ethnicity coming and helping black kids or black communities, whatever. Like I want more people to come and help these underserved communities, but it works a little bit differently when it's people like us. You know what I'm saying? Because we got those shared stories, we got those shared values. Like we understand. You know what I'm saying? We can be like, I know my mom used to be like this. My daddy went around, or this happened and this happened. And when they hear somebody, and sometimes 9 times out of 10. Our stories could be worse than theirs. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, I didn't know it. You know what I'm saying? So, and you can feel like for them, it's like, if you can make it, then I can make it.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I make sure I share with our lamplighters and other mentees. I just got here. I just started looking like this. I'm just here. I haven't always been like this. I have had a journey. You're going to have a journey. But what would I tell my little 14-year-old self, 12-year-old self, 13-year-old self? You don't have to settle for what's been given to you. Right? So this journey is yours and destiny calling your name.
And another thing is, like y'all mentioned it before, but you talk about how your kids come home to a full course meal. I remember it was days during the summer at a summer camp. Back in the summer camp, it used to hit different. You go to summer camp, they give you stuff that
box from the cinema.
Stuff don't even go together in that box.
Frozen.
This is what I learned from my uncle, right? So growing up on my side of Atlanta, my mom would drop us off at the Boys and Girls Club, or drop me off at the Boys and Girls Club. When I learned from my uncle that brown paper sack with that dry bologna sandwich and that juice and that bag of chips with no name on them was the same thing they got in the county. It was the same.
It was the same thing.
So when I made the mistake of bringing one home, like I got an extra sack one day, and he saw it. He was like, "Oh, I recognize that." He knew exactly what that was. He's like, "Oh, I know what that is."
We talk about the disconnect between our kids and kids we mentor.
Yes.
They go to summer camp
Yes.
and get free lunch.
Yes.
One year I took my kids to the $40 summer camp
Oh,
for
boy.
the whole summer.
They got an experience.
I was in Savannah. outside Statesboro. Took them to the Boys and Girls Club. It was $40 each for the whole
For the whole summer, baby.
I picked my kids up after summer camp. I said, son, did you eat lunch today? Because, I'm like, they're like, can we stop at McDonald's? We hungry. I said, y'all didn't eat lunch. My son looked at me in my face and said, Dad, they had something pink meat. And I kept thinking, I'm driving, I'm like, pink meat?
Yeah.
He said, yeah, it looked like hot dog. I said,
Bologna? Yeah, bro. These kids don't know what to do with
I
their little red
realized
band.
in that moment that my kids had never had a bologna sandwich.
Man. I ain't gonna lie, I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich today because I felt like I've been away from it too long.
You can't be the OG, bro.
I said, hey, I gotta give me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like,
you look here, man.
I remember in the summer camp, we would eat peanut butter and jelly with some Doritos. That don't even sound like it go together, but it hit when you were a kid.
Man, what?
Man, listen.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That little juicy juice and them frozen peaches.
Yes, sir.
Hitting.
So yeah,
I got
fond memories.
Shoot, you trading food like you in the county. Shoot.
Yeah.
But to get back on task, not that we got off task, but in y'all opinion, what advice would y'all give people that want to do more service with their friends? Because sometimes doing service alone seems like a daunting task. You like, I don't know where to start, how to do it. But how would you encourage other people, or what advice or tips would you give people to incorporate their friends into doing more service?
I'm going to be honest with you. From a friendship perspective, if y'all already great as friends, I'm telling you, man, and you really, really have fun with your friends, you haven't lived until you've gotten out there and worked a service project with some friends and put a smile on people's face that ordinarily wouldn't get the smile.
But
That's
honestly,
you're missing out.
You may have a friend group that don't care about service. Much like me, I have other friend groups that don't care about community service. So I have to trick them into community service, and it's great. So I'll say this: we're gonna do a blanket drive downtown. We're just gonna pull up to the community kitchen, and I want y'all to bring some old blankets and stuff. And then after that, we're gonna go get breakfast. I have to trick them.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving morning, they have this thing, Grateful Gobbler.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to get up Thanksgiving morning. But I'd be like, hey, y'all, let's walk, and then we're going to go to Cracker Barrel. Cool. So you have to entice. Yeah. If you don't have a friend group that Sterling speaking of, like
not everybody does.
I love to get up and walk it for homeless and give away my shoes that I really don't want to give away and my coats I really don't want to give away. You have to entice them. You know your friends because they your friends.
Yeah,
100%.
So if you got friends that like to drink, hey, bring you an extra coat, and then I talk to the bartender. You get a free drink. You bring a coat.
I like that.
Yeah. See, you got friends that like to drink.
So look. The biggest thing is just trying to find a way, because honestly, I think everybody wants to serve in some capacity. Like. You'll see something, whether it be a commercial, whether you see somebody else going door to door doing something, or you just driving. You like, man, I want to go do something.
People be so concerned about scammers or whatnot.
Yeah. I'll say this. I'll honestly say this. Living the life that I've lived, I learned that the line between you and somebody in need is extremely thin.
That's a good point.
You are not too big to fall. Trust me.
And most statistics say you one paycheck away from being homeless. Right?
You would be so surprised how many members of the unhoused community had it together, or quote unquote, just like me, you, other bros. They woke up every day, took care of their family, they went to work. You know what I mean? They were in a rat race. They owned a home. They had a mortgage. Drug addicts, But one bad break, one job loss, one family member loss. Just one bad break, they could never get back up on their feet. Everybody got a story outside their door on East 11th Street. You know what I mean? Where the community kitchen is. Every single person down there has a story. You would be surprised at how many people didn't start out life this way. That wasn't always their life.
Say if you got a friend group and you're interested in doing community service,
Yeah.
don't overthink it.
Don't.
Every city got a homeless camp.
That's it.
Whenever we have a event and there's extra food, whether I have an event at my home, I have a private dinner, or we have a fraternity event, I just take the food down to the kitchen. Sometimes I make the plates and pull up my truck and just hand the plates out.
I ain't gonna lie. I thought that's what y'all was gonna say when y'all said y'all favorite. For me, that was the most memorable service. It was after
We done it a few times.
Minority Health Fair.
Minority Health Fair.
The sandwich
Couple
boxes,
years ago.
When y'all were like, "Hey, what we doing with these?" and nobody had to tell y'all anything, y'all was like, "Oh,
Absolutely.
we gonna take
It was
these
so much of it, right?
and we gonna go
I
drop
think
these
it was
off."
like 75 boxes of sandwiches we had left, and we took them right down to
Yep. And this is a sidebar, but he up here talking about you live where you live at. He done talked about having private dinners.
Y'all don't.
His kids got full course meal.
You got to be careful about this guy right here, man. You know, you got to be careful about
I'm
this
not
guy.
going to apologize.
Listen.
That man.
I'm not going to apologize.
Look, this guy over
God
here.
is good.
This guy over here, man.
I mean, look, I'm just being honest. You know,
This guy over here,
Yeah.
man.
he living a different life.
Yeah,
like,
Just giving is much required.
Yeah.
okay,
This guy right here,
God
man.
done blessed you. Okay,
Absolutely.
Amen.
That's why I'm afraid not to serve. We talk about service because I'm afraid if I don't serve
International
my
man of
community,
mystery over here. Trust me.
I won't be blessed.
Yeah.
I have to serve. It's without a question. Oh man, you guys in on my wife.
Where we going?
This guy.
Where we going?
This guy.
They hate that I serve my community.
That
It's
took a
always-
turn. But
It's all of them. They mad at me.
yeah.
But I always had the issue like Sterling was talking about bringing in people from the outside,
Yeah, it's-
serving food. If
it's-
she cooking, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna wrap this up and take it to the kitchen.
Yeah.
Oh, she may go to the store buy some clothes on sale. I'm like, okay, buy all those clothes and give them away.
Mm.
I have always had this generous heart. I'm a minimalist, so I don't believe in. I buy a pair of tennis shoes, I give a pair of tennis shoes away. I buy a suit, I give a suit away. I've always been like that.
I want to say one more thing, if I could.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
To people who don't really see a value in community service. Our human vessel has a finite expiration date. What will they say about you when you're gone? Because this will wither away. This vessel will wither away and die, but the memory of you may be spoken about. If you have children, what are they going to say about their dad? All he did was take and take and take and do for himself, right? Will others speak of your name and say, you know what, man, I didn't have a suit, but you know what that guy did for me? He got me a suit so I could go on my job interview. God rest his soul. I just wanted to show up and pay my respects. You know what I mean? What will they say about you when you're gone? Hey, man, that bro could really hot, man. That's going to fade. Hey, man, that bro, you know, he always stayed fresh with the coolest nail, you man. I don't know where he got it from. Do those things have substance? Or will it be, you know what, man, every single year they had the biggest food drive in the city around Christmas time. They provided so many meals, man. Them bros right there, they left an impact, man. So much so that they, you know, the people they helped, they started helping others out of their memory.
We saw that impact in Chris Ramsey.
Yes, very much so.
Very good example.
So, we're gonna do our pardon ways, but for people who want to get involved, what are some organizations or some ways for them to get involved? Or you said we got 20 signed up slots for lamplighters. If people want to get in contact, like y'all spread that information to the people.
Absolutely. You know, wherever you are, I'm pretty sure there's a Big Brothers, Big Sisters. They are always looking for bigs. Always looking for bigs because they got a whole bunch of littles. All you got to do is send an email, general email to the website. You know, there's a Salvation Army in just about every city in America. They all have a cafe where you can go and serve breakfast. It's only 35 minutes. And, you know, you can do it once a month. Just 35 minutes once a month. So, you know, that's another way that you can just, you know, jump out there and start serving.
You got anything, Ken?
Lastly, I add support bridge builder.
Yeah, absolutely. The Bridge Builder Collective is a up and coming nonprofit here locally in Chattanooga that's doing amazing things.
So we want to thank you all for tuning in to this special edition of the Purple and Gold Table Talk. Thank you guys for joining us, and we gonna have all the information in the comments. Well, not the comments, but in the description. So if you want to volunteer or to help out somebody else, go right ahead. But thank you for watching.